Good morning, everybody. So I went live late last night, and continued stitching our sampler for the February celebration of National Embroidery Month. And you can learn more about the stitches if you want to move ahead on what stitches I used for this. So I'm going to set this one up over here. And if you're actually following along, this is where we left off on our basket. So, if you want to know, I did a shopping live type of video on my main Facebook page, Sewing with Steam. And I showed you which store I went to buy all of this. I'm not sponsored. I purchased all of my supplies, and I purposely bought them at a store I know that most of us have. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and fill in the basket handle. Are you able to see where I'm at? It's a little difficult to see, but here, I'll try to bring it up. If you're using the towels, let me see if I can find the towel. If you're following along, this is what I'm stitching on. I'm stitching on the American Flour Sack Towel 2-pack, and I bought this at the big store that starts with a W. I don't want to keep saying it because I don't want to get flagged for anything. So it's a 2-pack, which is why I'm able to mirror the sample and move ahead in other filming, such as my YouTube channel, and then go live and show you, if you're following. If you want this drawing, obviously without my scribbles, let me know. It's free for February 2020 only. After that, it will be for sale in my Etsy shop. Alright, so we are going to do what is called long and short stitch today to fill in this handle. Oh, and the thread that I'm using, I think it's the coolest stuff. This is by J&P Coats. It's a 36-pack, and you get 3 of every color of anyways, they're ombre, so it's pretty cool how it changes colors. Now, if you want solid colors, obviously you can pick any color you'd want, but I just thought this is kind of like a spring thing, different colors, different shades. So anyways, that's what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to sew. Get it? All right, sorry. Corny, right? Corny pin. All right, so long and short stitch. It's a long stitch, short stitch. And you can do this any way you'd like, just to fill in. I like to use it as a fill-in. It gives it some dimension. If you look in the darker shades, I like how it kind of gives movement in our stitches. So long stitch, I like to alternate between a long and short stitch. So if I started with a short stitch, the middle stitch will be a short stitch or a long stitch, and then back and forth. But there's really no wrong way to do this. This is for you to learn, and I say just jump in and learn. I do offer private lessons online where we would go live, or I'm sorry, private like this, and I could show you. I also offer group, sorry, I have a little knot in mine, in-person workshops. If you are within a 10-mile radius of Lewis Center, Ohio, now I would be willing to travel back to Beaufort, Bluffton, or Hilton Head, where I just moved from. So that would be an awesome invitation, let me tell you. So we will just continue to sew, and I might chatter, I might not, I don't know yet. I'm drinking my coffee from it says Best Mom Ever mug. So that is my breakfast. If you follow my other page, it's called Of Keto and Grace. So I've been trying to change my health. Let me start over. my eating to a healthier lifestyle. So I alternate between a carnivore diet and, I shouldn't say diet, between a carnivore day of eating and a lower carb or keto day of eating. My advice to you is seek your own medical advice as to what will work for you and your body. Right now, this is working for me and my body. My goal is to get down quite a few pounds. I would like to be down at least 20 to 30 pounds, 30 pounds more likely, by the end of March, 1st of April, because I am going to be having surgery this spring, and I would like to be closer to my ideal body weight by then. That will just help with the healing process and get me back on my feet. The nice thing is I can still come on and do my lives, and I can still sew. So the surgery is not going to interfere with this. In fact, it will help with my healing process because I won't be allowed to drive or go to the gym for several weeks. But all of that aside, I'm hoping that you can see this. If not, I can always zoom in. You can let me know. I'm available through direct message and messenger, I should say. Let's see. I'm just alternating between a short stitch and a long stitch, and that's exactly what it is. It's either a long stitch, a longer stitch, or a short stitch, and I like to alternate. Some people like to keep the stitches all the same length, and I say go right ahead. But for this lesson, I'm showing you different types of stitches and what they do for your embroidery design. And we will just continue to fill in the basket. My oldest daughter showed some interest in learning hand embroidery, I should say. So I would like to sit down with her today and get her started on this design. I don't have any more towels, but I do have fabric with different textures. So I'm going to let her decide what she would like to use. And you know what? She may not even want to do this design, which is fine. That's what I like. I like to help individuals decide what they like to do and what they want to learn. I think having worked with special needs of all ages for the last 27 years has shown me that's pretty much what the Lord wants me to do in my company. So I have been reaching out to some local groups and organizations that help adults with disabilities and underserved youth. Basically, I'm a social enterprise business, and take the 27 years of working with adults with disabilities, or not just adults, pardon me, all ages, because my daughter is 27, and she's that's been her life, her whole life. All right, here we go. And there, finally, are you able to see the different lengths? So it's a long and short, long stitch, short stitch, alternated within the basket hoop. I'm going to tie this off. Whoops, fell off the needle. But also several years of nonprofit employment or volunteerism. I've worked at YMCA, 2 different YMCAs, and I've also volunteered with schools and public schools, private schools, and and homeschooling. And I'm going to show you this a little bit closer. So this is what we're working on. And like I said, if you want to see this stitching in action, you'll have to go to my YouTube channel if you want to see what's happening ahead of time, because I go live there as I work up. But today, for this live, we're filling in the basket handle. This is what it will look like. And this is the part we're doing today, and that's the long and short stitch. What else was I gonna say? Remove all my extra floss. We're still unpacking. I don't know if that will ever come to an end. Just kidding. And I've been setting up my Memory Bear sewing studio area, and that takes a little bit more time to set up because I have to have the ironing board and safety nose and eyes and threads, an assortment of threads laying out. So that does take a little bit more time, but I'm excited to get that going again. I miss making memory bears. And again, they're on special for the month of February. For February 2020, please remember this year, February 2020, they are on a special of $50 per bear, which includes, you know, the safety eyes, safety nose, or combination of those, and free shipping. So there you have it. Now we're going to continue. I'm just jumping right back in where I left off. And I'll try to hold it still for you. I'm still trying to learn the tripod that I have. Trying to, you know, the adjustments and things like that. So just pull gently whenever your floss gets tangled. Just pull gently and see if you can't maneuver that before it becomes a knot, because if you get a knot in the middle, unfortunately you might have to start all over again, and that's okay. You know what? We just work through it, don't we? Yesterday we had beautiful weather. I was actually able to go outside and not feel sick, you know, from the temperature. Typically temperature, I don't want to say temperatures actually always bother me, because they don't. It's the weirdest thing, because I can have 50, let's say 40 degree weather right here in Ohio with no sunlight, but I can have the 40 degree weather in the south in it with the sun shining, and my body does not mind that. So there's something to be said about natural sunlight and how our bodies react to temperature. So, and no, I'm not a scientist or whatever. I know what my body likes, right? Okay, so I am using a series of shorter stitches right here to give it a little bit more of a depth and movement. There's no wrong way to do this. And the longer you hand embroider, you'll notice what you like for whatever you're creating. I think that's the wonderful thing about art, is you can take whatever is in your imagination and bring it to life simply by learning a new skill. I really like painting on fabric, and if you go to my website, you'll see some of the mixed media folk art dolls that I made. They're all, well, all of them aren't listed yet. I'm still trying to hunt down all the pictures. And I spoke about that on my YouTube last night about trying to find out which customer or relative owns which doll so I can get back a picture on my website. So if you're listening and you have pictures of something you've either purchased from me or received as a gift, please send your pictures in for me. All right. Anyways, so I've listed what pictures I've been finding or people have been giving me, and I've put those on the website. So those are all patterns and pictures I pulled from my imagination. And I have really been debating on if I should recreate those items and film it and then offer the patterns or not. I may go ahead and do that and just have, I don't know. If you follow along, you know, I guess you'll find out if you follow along, right? So we are going to continue to do long and short stitches to fill in this basket. And right now I'm doing the long stitches. It's okay if you see some of the fabric behind here, because I'm going to show you a trick at the very end on how to take care of that, okay? So, and a kit, you know what, that doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, I can show you how to fill those in, all right? But if I forget to show you, just let me know you want to know. And this is only valid, everything I offer is only valid February 2020. After that, we will be moving on to additional projects. You know, some of these stitches look like if you sew with a needle and thread, they resemble like the running stitch. So I think that we repeat stitches in different art and just give it a new name, honestly. Here, let me move this out of the way. If you're working with a larger piece of fabric like this, just roll the sides up over the embroidery hoop like this so your needle doesn't get stuck in it. I have sewn many pieces together like that, and then learned rather quickly to be very conscious about where the back of the fabric is, which is fine. How else are we going to learn if we don't make a mistake, right? Life is about grace and forgiveness. Okay. Now, if these, I might as well just show you now. If you can see the fabric behind the stitches, you can leave that if you'd like. Otherwise, you can just take your stitch or your needle and fill it in with an additional stitch to cover that up. It truly does not bother me with this piece. Now, if I was using a solid colored fabric, it might bother me more, or if it was on say a piece of clothing, then I would have put my stitching together, closer together, I should say. Again, this is a personal preference. It's not wrong. And if somebody tells you it's wrong, they need to maybe offer their assistance to somebody else, because that is not truly wrong. All right. Now, one thing I do like about this is the floss is a different color. Look how that's pretty cool coming up. Whoops. The floss is now a white or a beige color. So I'm going up through these. Makes it look like it's a wicker basket of like actually weaved, which those are absolutely beautiful. often think working for a particular company that I don't say not manufactures, but produces or designs these items, I don't want to be too specific, would be so much fun. I'm sure that they employ quite a few graphic designers. I think this year I would like to connect with some additional fiber artists and creatives. That would be so fun for me. I haven't been able to focus on that for so many years, and now that I pretty much retired from working for different corporations, I would like to get back into building some relationships with other people. All right, guys, so I'm going to finish up here for today. And again, if you look through my page, the Facebook page, and or my website, definitely go to my website. I have a free newsletter. You can follow me everywhere online simply by signing up, and you'll know where I'm at. Oh, real quick, I'm going to tie this off. All right, in case you're not sure, just find a sturdy thread, hoop in the back. You see my needle? You're going to go underneath it. Be careful not to poke through to the front. You don't want your needle to come, where are we at? See the front? You don't want your needle to come through that. You want to find the stitch back here. Gently pull it. Can you see that little hoop right here? Put your needle through that hoop and gently pull. And you're going to do that 2 times in the same spot, okay? Put your needle through the hoop. Here's the little loop. And pull it off. And now you have a nice tight knot. There's other ways to tie these off, but for this project, I'm doing very basic hand stitching. All right. That way, if you are not familiar with this, at least you can follow along and we're not getting too technical. All right, guys, I hope that your handle is starting to look like this. All right, now make sure you follow along because, whoops, my daughter is sneezing again. Because this is what we're working on. Follow me. I'm going to try to go back on YouTube live tonight. I do have quite a bit of other business to take care of. So I'm going to try to be very, very purposeful in my YouTube. But we're going to continue working on this. And I have some additional shapes I'm going to add to this drawing. But if you have questions, it's best for you to go through... So if you have questions, it's best for you to go through my website and send me a message, because my direct messages like Messenger, Instagram messaging, and things like that, they can get lost. I could not see them for days. But when you go through my website and send me a question, I see that immediately on my cell phone. So, and then I answer you. All right, please like, subscribe, follow me, tag your friends, and I hope that we connect. All right, bye guys.